Good afternoon, everybody. I think the big announcement is that there's ice cream in the back. So if you want some ice cream, feel free to go grab some. My name is Dinah Stevens. I am the Age Friendly Seattle Program Manager, and I'm going to be moderating the panel today. First, big thanks to CISC for hosting us. This is a great space. We were here last month. Super happy to be back. We do these events once a month in different places around the community. And we asked you what you wanted to hear about this month. And you told us you wanted to hear about summer entertainment opportunities. Weather's getting nice, finally. We can finally think about enjoying ourselves outside. So I'm joined today by a few great panelists who are going to share some information about events and activities happening around Seattle. A couple notes first. So we are live interpreting this. So we'll try to speak slowly, but if we need to slow down, just let us know. We can do that. We can repeat ourselves. If you need to ask a question, feel free. This is a conversation. You don't have to wait until the end. Raise your hand. The interpreter can help you if you need some help, and our panelists would be happy to answer your questions. What else? We have some folks joining us online. So hello to all the online viewers. If you have a question during the program, feel free to type your question into the chat, and one of our staff will read it out and make sure the panelists get to answer. Okay. And we have one more panelist who will be joining us a little later on, but we're going to go ahead and get started with our two wonderful speakers who are here. And rather than read their bios, I'm actually going to let them introduce themselves. Oh, thank you. Yeah, a quick reminder. We also have a couple more announcements. So we have a colleague here from our Parks and Recreation team who is going to take just 1 minute of your time to let you know about what the Parks is doing.
Yeah, hi, my name is Rachel Banner, and I work for our Planning and Capital Development team at Seattle Parks and Recreation. And through April 30th, the end of this month, we are collecting ideas for the Park Community Fund. It is a community-initiated project fund for capital projects, so anything physical, and about $5 million to spend. I have these idea collection forms in the back that you can pick up and fill out and put in a box. We also have a box at all of the community centers in Seattle, or you can fill out an application online, and that website is on here as well. So if you have any questions, I'll be hanging out in the back and happy to answer.
Thank you. Great. So great opportunity if you want to tell parks how to spend $5 million. So definitely check that out in the back. And we also have a colleague from our Office of Planning and Community Development team here to talk a little bit about Seattle's comprehensive plan and how you can share your input.
My name is Pepe, and I'm here from the Office of Planning and Community Development. Our office, what I do for the office is I'm actually the graphic designer, and I work on a team with architects, urban planners, data analysts, indigenous planners, and community organizers. And we work on long-range planning for our communities. And so the comprehensive plan is a long-range plan. It really tells the city where we are going to focus our resources for growth for the next 20 years. The draft plan is up online right now, and it's posted and ready for feedback through May 6th. It features 4 key moves, and that includes about housing and affordability, community and neighborhood growth, equity and opportunity, and climate sustainability. So what I'm asking now, what I want to share, is I brought summary overviews of the draft plan in 3 different layouts. Oh, I need more hands. Please, thank you so much. You'll see where we're talking about the different types of growth that we're planning and we want feedback from for the city. There's Chinese Mandarin versions here and also large format versions. So I'm leaving those on the table over there. And then on the back, there's a web address on how to make comments on the plan. There's also, you can email us, I'll leave my card, or give me a call. That's it. Tell the mayor's office what you need to thrive in place. Thank you.
Well, if you're interested in learning more about Seattle's comprehensive plan, which is it's a big deal. It happens every 20 years. It's our opportunity to weigh in on the sort of grand plan of Seattle. We're doing another event downtown at the Pike Market Senior Center on April 29th. So you can learn more there and make sure that you tell the city what you want. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started with our panelists. So I'm gonna hand it over to Elise to introduce herself first, and then we'll hand it to Jessica.
Hi everybody, my name is Elise Dobbins and I work with Seattle Parks and Recreation in their Park Activation Unit. And we work to create events in park spaces that are free for everybody to come and enjoy. And I really look forward to getting to talk with you all today about what we have coming up. I am new to the city of Seattle, so I've been working with the city for around 8 months, and I used to live in Virginia, so from the East Coast all the way here to the West Coast. Looking forward to talking more today.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Lotz. I use she, her pronouns, and I work for a nonprofit called Friends of Waterfront Seattle. We are the nonprofit partner to the city of Seattle, helping to fund, steward, program, and support the new waterfront park. Can I get a raise of hands by how many people are familiar with the new waterfront park? Some of us, awesome. So I'm really excited to share more about the park and the free public events that we have for all individuals, all ages, all backgrounds. So we hope to see you down there this summer, and I'm looking forward to being able to share more about what our park has to offer, and so hopefully you can come join us.
Thanks. Oh, I think I do. Yeah.
This one, yeah, there we go, okay. Jessica, why don't we stick with you for a second? Can you tell us a little bit more about Friends of the Waterfront and the kinds of activities people can expect down at the park?
Absolutely, yeah. So I mentioned Friends of Waterfront is the nonprofit partner to the city of Seattle. You can think of it as the way the city of Seattle is building the park, but we activate the park. We have all sorts of different events that happen all the time, from music events to health and wellness, to cultural events where you can learn about and celebrate cultures of Seattle and of the world down at the park. And then also, as a part of us being a nonprofit, we do fundraise for the park. Right now we're on a big journey. We're trying to raise $200 million. It's a little bit more than just some pocket change, right? But we're almost there, and so we're really excited to be able to be that support to the city, to be able to program that park. And other than that, I'm going to dive more into specific programming that we have that I hope to see you all at. But that's kind of just a general overview of Friends. Just think of us as your friendly neighbor who has lots of events.
I love that kind of neighbor. And Chelsea joined us. Welcome, Chelsea. So I want to give Chelsea an opportunity to just quickly introduce herself. We just got started, so you haven't missed anything.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm very excited about being here. My name is Chelsea Riddick-Most, and I am the Director of Programs and Events at Seattle Center.
How many of you have ever been to the Seattle Center? Space Needle, Children's Theater. Okay, handful of folks. So we're going to get to learn more about it today. So Elise, can you tell us a little bit about park activation? What does that mean? What does your team do?
Yes, so park activation, kind of similar to what my teammate here was saying. We work in the public spaces in downtown Seattle and throughout Seattle to create positive park spaces that also have a sense of safety. So a good example really close to here that we're going to talk a bit about is Hing Hay Park. We have park concierge that are people that are in the park every day of the week. They set up tables and chairs to create spaces for people to have lunch or relax. They also support buskers, so musicians that play music during lunchtime. So quick show of hands, has anybody ever been to Hing Hay Park and heard the music playing around lunchtime? Okay, some of us have. Cool. I just walked by and heard it as I was coming down here. So that is part of the park activation programming. And it's really wonderful. We also plan special events like movies in the park and our popular Dancing Till Dusk series where there's a live band and dance instruction. So we also are trying to connect with community and know more about what you all want to see in parks and help if you had an idea for something you wanted to see in a park, make that come alive and be a great event for the whole city. So we work to make sure that the parks are inclusive for everybody, that programming is free for everybody to come to, and really appreciate your feedback today.
And then I think we're gonna hear more examples, but first, are the programs in the parks free for people?
All of our programming is free that we help provide, yes.
Chelsea, can you tell us a little bit more about the Seattle Center and maybe give us a sense of its significance within the community and some of the key attractions there?
Absolutely. Seattle Center is a 74-acre space, and 40 acres of that space is just all green parkland. We have over 30 residential cultural organizations that sit on our campus. That includes the Space Needle, that includes the Climate Pledge Arena, it includes the Seattle Children's Museum, it includes the Seattle Children's Theater, and it also includes McCall Hall, which is the performance venue space where we hold the ballet and the opera and other big performance events. Seattle Center was formed during the World's Fair, and today we have done everything in our power to make sure that it continues to be a space where everyone is welcome. It is a space where we try to cultivate arts, entertainment, creativity. Several years ago, pre-pandemic, we had a new park, a children's park. We call it Center at the Park. And it's a park space where you'll often see children playing with either their parents or with their family members. But the idea of Seattle Center is that we have something for everyone.
Can you talk a little bit about what makes the Seattle Center such a beloved cultural destination?
Yes, absolutely. There's quite a few things that we like to talk about with Seattle Center. We have something called Festal, which is a grouping of 24 cultural festivals that are all free. There's a couple that, those festivals have been developed to bring community together. There are also festivals that are specific to leaning in and to uplifting different cultures in our city. They bring different generations together. We have the Glimpse of China Cultural Festival. We just recently celebrated the Japanese Cherry Blossom Festival. We have coming up, which is a really big, popular, and one of our oldest festivals, is the Northwest Folklife Festival. And all of those festivals celebrate culture, they celebrate art, and you see that because part of what we try to do is initiate and incorporate food. We incorporate storytelling, we incorporate live performance and dance, we incorporate fashion. So often not only are you eating and enjoying storytelling by the elders, but you're also enjoying live performances from the young people. I think the other thing about the Seattle Center is not only do we have our festivals, but we also have, and those festivals are all free. The other thing that we like to talk about is our Seattle King County Clinic, where we offer, it is a free clinic that services not only health, but dental as well as vision. That clinic is coming up in April. It'll be April 25th through, I believe, the 27th this year. But all of those services are free to anyone that wants to come. There is your ID, you don't need ID, you just need to show up. The other thing that we offer, which I think is really important, is we offer Zumba classes, we offer yoga classes, we have walks through the park where we have historical art installations from people that are local to the community. So there's a lot to see and to experience.
Yeah, that is a lot. Like great, a lot of good stuff. Jessica, can you give us some examples as well what people could expect at the waterfront this summer?
Absolutely. So the waterfront is an ongoing project. The park will be finished in its construction early next year, but the park itself is open now, and we've been programming the park for this will be our third programming season. And at the park for our programming, we have a wide variety, very similar to Seattle Center's on the waterfront, of arts and culture and food and music. Specifically this summer, I think some of the things that this group might be interested in is our live music program that happens every Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. I also in the back have some schedules. They're the really colorful schedules of all of the programs that you might be interested in coming to this summer. And so the schedules in the back have the wide variety of different programs that we have coming up this summer, but including live music. We have our Indigiqueer Festival coming up as well in June, which celebrates Indigenous and queer culture. And then a well-beloved block party that happens late in August as well too. And that block party goes across the whole waterfront. So all the way from Pioneer Square to Belltown, there's pop-up activations, music, vending, activities. There's gonna be a parade as well too. And then we have some health and wellness programs that are suitable for all ages. I'd say all of our events are suitable for any community member. We can also tailor some of our health and wellness programs. So like, say it's a yoga class, we can do chair yoga or things of that nature. But we also have a Qigong program that's coming in July. And that'll be on the waterfront, I believe, for 5 or 6 sessions. And then we've also got meditation coming this summer too. But specifically, I'm interested in inviting you all to what we're calling our Golden Gathering. And that is geared specifically towards older adults, and that's going to happen on September 14th. I know that's a little bit far away, but mark your calendar. It's going to be an amazing time for community to come together. And at that event, we are going to be working with the King County Library System and Silver Kite actually to be hosting that program, and it's going to include dancing and painting and crafts. We're going to do some brain games like bridge and mahjong. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, I'm sorry, but all sorts of different kinds of ways to get engaged that day as well too. We'll also have some food and drink available for free for folks that day. So please do come join us on September 14th for that golden gathering. Again, you'll see all of those dates on the schedule in the back, as well as there's a QR code too, and if you wanted to go to our website via that QR code or the link that's listed, the whole website can be translated to. Up in the corner, there's a little button to choose your language. So that will be your best way to keep up to date on our events and programs this summer. We definitely have a lot of them going on. Last year, I think we programmed about 150 events. We're gonna be doing a little bit less than that this year because construction is a little bit wild down there, but we're still gonna come through with a lot of different events for you to bring your family to, your friends to, right there on the waterfront. Most of them are gonna be based at Pier 62, which is just north of the aquarium. It's the new pier that has been redone. But as the park is finished, events will go across the whole waterfront, including Stadium Plaza, which is in Pioneer Square, right by the football and baseball stadium. So that's probably gonna be your closest place to come to events 2025 moving forward. But we'd love to see you at any of them on the waterfront. Thank you.
Is it called Golden Gathering? Sounds great. And I'm assuming these are all free events as well? Yes, okay, great. Elise, what about at the Seattle parks? What can we expect this summer, especially, parks here as well as in other places around the city?
Yes, so we have, just as my teammates have said, a lot of great free programming as well all around the city. I compiled a few things for Hing Hay Park, so you'll see this flyer is on the table in the back. If you want to take one home, I see some of you have it right now, that's great. So specifically at Hing Hay Park, we work with our partners at Interim, another local neighborhood organization here, to provide mahjong in the park on Thursdays. We have Tai Chi classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Chinese dance classes, as well as senior exercise. So there's a lot of ways to get moving, especially at Hing Hay Park this summer. There's also ping pong as well as ping pong tournaments. So if you are a ping pong player, head to Hing Hay Park. The ping pong tables are always open. We always have paddles and ping pong balls to give out. For the greater city as well as Hing Hay Park, we have our popular movies in the park events coming up. So we have a really big Jumbotron screen where we show movies. I'm trying to think how many parks we're doing them at. I printed out something here. It's over 10 parks, so I don't know where you're all located, but we have some that are in Lake City in North Seattle. We have some that are happening at Ballard Commons, Cal Anderson Park, Hing Hay. There is a full schedule that's going to come out, and there's going to be more information if you scan the QR code. We're still trying to finalize all of those great dates. And especially at Hing Hay Park, we are working with our partners to provide closed captioning on the movies that would be in Chinese or Mandarin. Not totally sure yet, we're still working to confirm, but we think that would be really, really great. I also forgot we have a lectures and storytelling event happening at Hing Hay Park, which is a lot of fun as well if you haven't been before. Like I said, we're still working to finalize all this programming. There's going to be more information available if you want to follow us on social media, or I have left one of my teammates' cards, business cards, if you want to reach out, give her a call or an email. Her name is Monica Haugen. She works closely with me and was sad to not be able to come today, but it's going to be a really fun summer packed with a lot of great events.
There's a lot happening this summer.
Yeah.
Can you talk about, and maybe Jessica, I'll go back to you first for this, because I know the waterfront has done a tremendous amount of work to make your programming and the space accessible and inclusive. So I want to hear a little bit from all three of you how you incorporate accessibility in your programming. And yeah, Jessica, I know for a fact you've done lots of work, as I imagine the rest of you have as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So just reiterating that the city itself did an amazing job at designing the park. They are responsible for the whole design and build, but the park was designed with accessibility in mind. Several different focus groups and listening sessions were hosted with accessibility organizations so they could share their input about how the park should be designed. The park is being designed with universal design, so that way the spaces can be used for all people. And if we add something that makes the space more accessible for one person, then it'll be accessible for the whole community and make that experience more positive for anybody that visits that space. Things like curb cuts or seating and shading are big things that make the space more accessible. We're actually adding in 47 different benches along the waterfront, lots of different tables with umbrellas for shade, and then also the park extends up into Pike Place Market, and so there's going to be benches and seating and shade and things like that up there as well. But also we are excited because there's 2 new elevators that are being added into the park as a part of that accessibility plan. One of them over by Union Street, and then another one at the new Seattle Aquarium once it's complete. So that's supposed to open up later this summer as well. So we're really excited for that. But additionally, there is a free waterfront shuttle that is going to be launching in May. We don't have the exact route for it yet, but last year it picked up by the train station in the International District. But last year the free shuttle picked up by the International District station, and we had about 15,000 different riders on that shuttle. And so it's likely going to be picking up near or exactly at the same place, and it's going to go all across the waterfront, through the International District, Pioneer Square, to the waterfront, and then up to Seattle Center as a big loop. And we have two of those cars going, and so they'll go every 15 minutes or so. We hope to see shuttles, and they're ADA friendly shuttles as well too. But in addition to that, we are adding a new ADA restroom out on the waterfront as well, and there's a ADA restroom on Pier 62. And then we also have some tents for elders at some of our larger size events, like a big tent with shading and like water and misters at those. We also just launched our accessibility committee, which is a committee of 10 different individuals who I'm actually meeting with right after this. I'm super excited. And they help to guide us in our accessibility journey. And they come from a lot of different backgrounds. It's some folks that are older adults, some folks that have disabilities, some service providers, caretakers, you name it. It's folks that are really informed on how to make events more inclusive. And so they're going to be really helping to guide our work this year and helping us to plan programs that are accessible for all. And they're also going to be auditing our current scope of programs to ensure that we are making all of those marks to make sure that we are creating inclusive events for all.
Great. So, and I heard you say that is it a free shuttle that's going to be running from May through the summer?
Yeah, it runs about May through late September, and it is a free shuttle. The way that you can recognize the shuttle and where the shuttle stops are really big, bright blue and orange signs that say free waterfront shuttle, and then the shuttle itself is really bright blue and orange too. So I'm sure you'll see it around town. Once it launches in May and we've finalized the route, we'll also be posting that on our website. And then hopefully in future years, if we increase ridership, we can increase where the routes go. So we're hoping in the future maybe to have the routes go up to like the convention center, to the waterfront, and really be more Seattle-wide. So look out for that. Take a ride. The bus drivers and stuff are so sweet and kind, and they'll get you to where you're going.
And I heard you say it goes up to the Seattle Center. So in theory, you could really make a whole day of it.
Absolutely, yeah. If you wanted to come to all 3 of our different venues, I definitely invite you to do that. It's gonna be a really full summer, as you heard, and there's lots to do. And all of our organizations here are geared at making Seattle a fun, welcoming, inclusive, exciting place. And so I'm excited to go to some of these events that they talked about as well.
What did you say about May through when?
May through late September.
So Chelsea, can you talk to us a little bit about the accessibility of your programming, and including kind of language accessibility? Do you offer programming in multiple languages? How can people plug into that?
Absolutely. I think that is part of the mission of Seattle Center, is that all are welcome. So one of the wonderful things about what we do, our services, is that you can go online to seattlecenter.com and you can find out a lot of this information. So that's seattlecenter.com. But if you are coming to Seattle Center, you can call us in advance, and we can make arrangements to have someone meet you and pick you up near the Mopop Museum. So that's and then we will escort you onto the campus. If you're coming there for a performance, and you alert us in advance, and a lot of times we have these services available on call, but we also have wheelchairs that are available if you are with someone and you would like to tour around the campus. You go to customer services where we have wheelchairs available. We also have assisted listening devices that are also programmed to do interpretation. So if there is a performance on the Armory floor or on the Armory stage, you can request an assisted listening device that will, and you should also let the customer service representative know. They can also help you to program the devices. Did I miss anything?
Well, I don't know if you missed anything, but I do want to just reiterate what you just said, which is so amazing. So if somebody wants to go to a performance, and let's say the performance is happening live in English, someone can request a listening device from you all, from your customer service folks, and have that performance translated in real time into their language of their choice.
Absolutely. We do this for the clinic, but we also offer those services. Now, I will throw caution to the wind and say that we are limited on the number of devices that we have in stock. But if you are interested in signing out those devices, that they are available, and they're on the first floor of the Armory, which is the food and event hall. So you come into the Armory, you'll see different merchants there that are selling food, that are selling drinks, and just towards the back of the Armory, you'll see the customer service desk.
I'm curious if any of you in the room have grandchildren that live in the area or visit you occasionally. Anybody have grandkids? Okay, well, I was going to suggest if you do, or if you have other little ones in your life, if you've never been to the Seattle Children's Theater, it is such a treat. So if you're looking for something to do with kids, I highly recommend the Seattle Children's Theater, which is at the Seattle Center.
I'm also going to add that we have, in the summer, we activate we have two large water facilities. One is in the center of the campus. It's called the International Fountain. And that particular fountain has music that is programmed along with the water activation. So it's nice just to come and sit around and just enjoy the park. We have 17 different cherry blossom trees on our campus, so they hang over the water fountain, the international fountain. And then we have a smaller, what we call a splash pad, that was just installed a year ago, and we hope that that'll be active this year, where we have seating and we have the ability for people to come and just sit and enjoy the park on the campus while they're being spritzed with water. So it's not so warm. You can enjoy the warmth and a little water spritzing.
And it's close to here. So we now know that you can take a free shuttle between May and September, but how else would you recommend people get to the Seattle Center? And is parking a nightmare? Should people take public transit? How should we approach this?
I like to think that Seattle Center is easy to is accessible. You can take public transportation if you're driving. There is lots of parking that is just on the outskirts of the actual campus. If you take public transportation, there are bus routes that come directly to the Seattle Center campus. The other thing is, if you're down in downtown Seattle proper, at the Westlake Mall, you can take the monorail that takes you directly to the center of the campus. And most people enjoy taking the monorail because it gives you a chance to overlook the city. I actually enjoy the ride as well, but it's really nice, and there's different ways that you can reach the center of Seattle Center.
Thank you. Elise, it sounds like a lot of the programming that you do at parks, you work with other organizations, community groups to do. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the organizations you work with and what that looks like?
Absolutely, yeah. Since we are programming in parks all around the city, we want to make sure that we're providing events that people in the specific areas want to go to. So we oftentimes partner with different organizations that are really central to communities. So like I mentioned, for Hinghey Park, we work with Interim, which is an organization in this neighborhood. We also have partnerships with the Downtown Seattle Association that help program some of the downtown parks. And we really just want to make sure that we're providing events that people in that community really want. Since we are this greater, bigger organization, sometimes it's difficult for us to know exactly what the community wants. So it's really great to be able to have these partnerships with local organizations and get to know what people want in that area. I also just wanted to take a small moment to note on accessibility in parks. It's great that Rachel Banner could be here, and I hope you all fill out that form she mentioned earlier for if you see a problem in a park that's causing it to not be accessible to you, let parks know, because we want to make sure that how parks are built is accessible for everybody. And same with our programming, which is why we work with a lot of great organizations in neighborhoods that are a little bit closer to the communities there and tell us what we should be doing.
Well, and speaking of hearing what we should be doing, what role, and this question is for all of you, we have about 10 minutes left, so want to open it up. Also remind folks, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. But what role does community feedback play in your decision making about what programming to offer? How do you come up with the ideas you come up with? And do you need more ideas? Do folks have ideas? So Lisa, let's start with you.
A lot of our programming has happened for many, many years, and community, in our opinion, loves it because a lot of people show up and we get positive feedback on it. So a lot of our very popular programs, like our Dancing Till Dusk and our Movies in the Park, have been around for 10 plus years. And we continue them because people show up. But we are always working to learn more about people would like to see in the parks. My position was recently created so that we can have more capacity to be doing surveys with community and in events like this to be able to learn what folks want to see in their parks. So yes, we want to hear what you all want, definitely.
I shared a small bit about our accessibility committee that helps us inform our future programming, but we do have 2 other committees as well. Our Pulling Together Committee, which is Indigenous centered, and then our Community Connections Committee, which is BIPOC centered. This year has been a great year because they've been able to help us actually make decisions in who our program partners should be, ensuring that we are being equitable and inclusive in our decision making. But then also, similar to what Elise said, surveys are very important to us as well. Getting out in the community and just having conversations with people through different types of like outreach tabling. For example, we've shown up at like Lunar New Year here in the ID and talked to folks. What do you want to see on Waterfront Park? What would make it feel safe for you? What would make you feel like you belong? And so that's one way that we gather feedback as well. We also just have a really amazing all-star team of program planners at our team, as I'm sure we all do. But we really lean on their expertise to bring programs together that are intergenerational and diverse and exciting for community to come to. But also, if you all have thoughts and opinions about specific programs, like say you really want to see ice cream down there, like let me know, like that's something I can pass along. Come find me afterwards or just raise your hand. And we would love to hear your feedback as well. I've also got some cards in the back too if anyone wants to reach out via email afterwards too. Thank you.
What role does community feedback play for you, and how can people share their input?
Community is really important in terms of what you all want to see. Community is really important in terms of what you want to see and what type of experiences you want to have at Seattle Center. So our customer service desk in the center of the Armory, they offer cards where people can provide recommendations. We have cultural specialists who work with the Department of Neighborhoods to go out to the communities to see what the communities are doing, and if some of those events are events that we can bring into the Seattle Center. Seattle Center does over 14,000 events over the course of the year. So we hope, part of why we do so many and we try to do them often is because we hope that we're doing something for everyone. We have commercial events that you have to pay for, but we also have a slew of free events that service the community. And the other goal or the mission that we have is to make sure that those events cover across a broad cultural and economic span, so that we can make sure part of what we want to do is make sure that people have an emotional connection to the Seattle Center. And I think that emotional connection is done when you have people that are from different generations participating in doing different things in the same space.
I'll pause here and I want to invite the audience. Do you have any questions for our panelists or ideas for them? And if you don't want to speak up now, you can also find our panelists right afterwards and share your feedback or ask your questions. And I think with that, I will ask our panelists if there's anything that you would like to leave us with. So we'll just kind of go down the line, and Chelsea, I'll start with you.
I think the only thing that I brought some calendars that have a list of all of our festivals, or the dates of our festivals, our 24 cultural festivals. The only thing that I will leave everyone with is that I live on Lane Street. I grew up riding my bike in this community. And the other part of that is from here, I would ride my bike to the Seattle Center. My goal is to make sure that everyone in this city feels like Seattle Center is a part of them. So I welcome you to come, to visit, to walk the park, to participate at any events at the Seattle Center, because I can only do my job as well as your feedback and your interaction allow me to. So come down, enjoy us, and participate.
And you know what, I am failing as a moderator because I'm looking at the wrong clock. So I apologize. I'm gonna take back the final comments. We actually have about 15 minutes left, so I do have a few more questions. Sorry about that. So actually, one of my other questions, and you all sort of hinted at this in different ways, but what efforts have you made to incorporate different cultural perspectives in your programming and in your spaces? And how can we see those if we come down today? Yeah, go for it.
Well, I'll start with parks. We obviously help permit a lot of different events, and some of the events come from community ideas and from community groups. So there's a lot of great festivals that happen in parks all the time that I might not fully be aware of, because there's a great community member that had the idea and helped make it happen. So our team also really wants to make, again, if you had an idea like that for something you wanted to see in a park, we could partner with you and help figure out how to actually make that happen. So that's part of how we really make sure that we're having a lot of different cultural events. Also, as I've said, we partner with local organizations that helps really bring different voices that we might not have as a small team in parks, which is really, really wonderful and great.
Thank you for that great question. Friends of Waterfront Seattle tries to incorporate culture into all of our events and our programming. And all of our events and programming come down and experience culture that is maybe a culture of your own, or maybe a culture of somebody from Seattle area, but also global culture as well too. Just a couple of examples of how we've done that in the past. We have a couple of Indigenous celebrations that happen every single year. Our Indigiqueer and our Salmon Homecoming that are really amazing for celebrating local Indigenous Seattle culture and being able to recognize the history and the people that have lived in this area. And speaking of histories of this area, we also like to recognize all of the individual cultures that have lived on the waterfront. So that is something that we also like to amplify in our programming. And it's pretty great too, because a couple of these things that my other panelists have said here are different ways of bringing culture down, like dancing till dusk is something we're actually thinking about bringing back to the waterfront this year. And that's another way to celebrate culture and be able to bond over like the Seattle-ness culture, you know, like something that Seattle has special to it in its own cultural way. And also, I think even just getting into those like health and wellness programs like Qigong, or we're also bringing the Bruce Lee Kung Fu Studio down this summer as well too, to learn how to do Kung Fu. And so maybe it's culture that you can share, maybe it's culture that you can learn, but we want the waterfront to be a place of cultures mixing and mingling and getting to know each other in a more deep way.
Seattle Center, I think the cultural festivals are probably the most popular and visible way that we try to promote and to grow culture. The other way that we try to promote culture is we try to really do it from within. I am always talking to my staff. My staff is diverse. They come from different parts of the community, and so they naturally bring different ideas to us that they would like to explore. The other thing that we do is we make a point, because we also have movies. We have movies that we show at the Seattle Center. And every year we go through the movies, and we make a point to make sure that we're showing an independent film, a film that is also relevant to a different culture that we hadn't explored the year before. And then we're also looking at movies that have a broad audience. So we try as best we can to make sure that we're hitting in different areas where culture can be explored.
If you had to tell a relative, maybe someone who lives here, maybe someone who was visiting, one thing to do this summer at your location, what would you tell them to check out? I know that's a tough question. Choose more than one, but try to keep it focused.
I'm going to go back to our cultural festivals, so our cultural festivals, the thing that is really, that I enjoy is that the food is the food is diverse. And so when we have Glimpse of China, there's lots of food. There's artwork that is being displayed. There are beautiful clothing and costumes that are being shared, and then there is also the opportunity to enjoy elders sharing the history, because we have a huge screen in the armory that allows different slides to go up, and it basically talks about the culture. The last thing that I would say is I would welcome everyone to come down during the holidays. During the holidays, Seattle Center has something called Winterfest. And during Winterfest, we have live entertainment that performances on our stage. We also have food, and we just recently, this year, started something called the World Bazaar, where we host different small businesses from around the community to sell their different products. So whether it's jewelry that they're selling, whether it's clothing that they're selling, or just unique items that promote different culture. That's a new thing that we started at the campus. So I would say come down, enjoy during the holidays, and if you don't come in the winter to Winterfest, then come now. The campus right now is a beautiful, quiet, calm space to enjoy. The trees are in bloom, and the grass smells great, and there's not a lot of people, but it's a wonderful, wonderful place to visit.
So my one event, if I could only go to one of them this entire summer, and it wouldn't be any of their great events, I would say our Dancing Till Dusk events. I used to be a professional ballet dancer, so dance is a very special place in my heart, so that is why I'm gonna go with our dancing event. But pretty much to tell you a little bit more, the first hour of these events, usually they run from 6 p.m. to about 9 p.m. The first hour is a dance instruction. So you can come alone, come with a friend or a partner, and learn a little bit of dance, maybe a swing style dance or a salsa. There's a lot of different types that they teach. And then for the next 2 hours from 7 to 9, it's just open. There's a live band playing music. If you're not into dancing, there are seats set up so you could just sit back and relax and enjoy the live music and enjoy seeing people dance and enjoy. I actually went last year to one that was on the waterfront, and it was really beautiful even to just sit back and watch. So we have 16 different Dancing Till Dusk events, so they're all around the city at King Hay Park, Freeway Park, Count Anderson Park, Ballard Commons, Westlake, one in Lake City, and then one at Golden Gardens. So more information is going to be coming out about that on our social media soon, but that would be my one choice.
Let's see. So I would say if we're considering it this summer, my number one choice would likely be for visiting Waterfront Park during our annual block party. Our block party has a lot to offer. I kind of hinted at it earlier, but all sorts of things from different food trucks spanning the waterfront to musical pop-up performances across the waterfront. We're in the process of planning a parade with lots of different music acts going through the parade. And then also a lot of times down at the pier, there's different pop-up performances from a lot of our community partners. A big thing that we do also is partner with community partners to bring in lots of different cultural dances, music, art forms. A lot of times during our block party we do interactive art as well too. So if you want to leave your mark, so to speak, on the waterfront, we're planning right now some sort of placemaking activities that can happen during our block party as well. And then I wanted to also just plug our Golden Gathering again. It's kind of in fall, it's in September. So it's hard to tell if that's fall here in Seattle or not. That's like our great season for weather. But that'll be happening September 14th. And that'll include a dance session as well as painting tiles for a mural, food, drink, and some seated movement exercises as well too. And that's going to be with Silver Kite and the King County Library System. So really looking forward to those two events in general. But I think that if you wanted to come to any other one that we had, that you would have an amazing time regardless.
Luckily, you don't have to choose just one. So definitely take advantage of the many, many great things that are happening this summer. So now that I'm looking at the right time, I think it is time to ask our panelists for their final thoughts. So we'll start in the same row. And Chelsea, is there anything else that you want to leave us with?
I can't think of anything except for that Seattle Center is just a really special place. And the thing that makes it special is our community members. So you all when you come and you visit the campus of Seattle, that is what brings Seattle Center alive. So I invite you to come to visit and enjoy the campus. There's lots to do, and even if you don't attend an event, just coming and sitting and enjoying the people that are on the campus, I invite you to do that.
My closing remark would be, we've talked a lot about special events. I just invite you all to come into the park every single day. Like I said, we, in a lot of our downtown parks, have live music from 12 to 2 every single day, and our park concierge staff set up furniture so that people can relax in that park space. All of our events are free. I just want to reiterate that, so we would love for you to come. Again, on the back table there is this flyer with our event information and a QR code so that you can see all the events coming up that aren't listed here, and my team member Monica's business card if you want to reach out for more questions. I also wanted to mention I have a bunch of community tickets to the Seattle Art Museum, so if you want to grab one of those on your way out, Seattle Art Museum is totally wonderful. Those are there for you all.
I think my final remark would be just that the Waterfront Park is for everyone. The Waterfront Park is for you, for your friends, for your family. It's a place of connection, connecting back to the water. Because there used to be a big bridge where the park was at now, but really having that connection restored back to the water, but also connecting with your community down on the waterfront as well too. As far as schedules and things, just a friendly reminder that I do have that colorful schedule. I don't have it with me right here, so I apologize for that. but it has a list of about, I don't know, give or take 40 or 50 programs that I thought might suit this group. And then there's also some fanny packs in the back, some little white bags. So those are up for grabs as well too. So if anyone wants something fun to carry your stuff around in, it's got lots of pockets. So please feel free to grab one of those. I've got my business card as well too. If anyone wants to chat more, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation. Thank you.
And I'll just add that if you don't already have a gold card, make sure you pick one up before you leave today. These are free. They're for any person who is age 60 and older, and they get you discounts to a lot of places around Seattle. The aquarium, so you can have a free entrance to the aquarium and then check out the waterfront programming in the evening, for instance. The zoo, animal shelter if you're looking to adopt a pet, all kinds of restaurants and coffee shops and other services, museums, the Wayne Luke Museum right here. So certainly pick one of those up for free. And with that, I want to say thank you so much to our panelists for all that you're doing. It sounds like you've been very busy and will continue to be busy this summer, but very exciting things. I know I learned a lot and I feel excited for the summer in Seattle, so thank you. And thank you again to CISC for hosting us, always a pleasure to be here, and to all of you for attending. And with that, we'll wrap up. I think there's some more ice cream in the back, so if you want to kick off your summer celebrating now, feel free to grab some ice cream, and hope to see you out and about at an event this summer. Thank you.